Welcome to West Campus in our athletics facility here at Eastern Michigan. I'm the Director of Athletics, Scott Weatherby, and today is a historic day for the university, for our athletics department, for our coaches, staff, donors, fans, and our student athletes. We appreciate each of you that came out for this joyous occasion. I'm super excited about what this building will do for the university and for our athletic department. When I became the Director of Athletics a little over a year ago, the championship building plan was already well on its way, but I wanted to make it one of my top priorities. And the reason I wanted to make it a top priority was that it was going to positively transform and help our experience for our student athletes. And it also helps our coaches provide the resources they need for Division I athletics. The Student Athlete Performance Center, which we're calling it now, and anybody else wants to put their name on it, we can talk about that. The Student Athlete Performance Center, which resides right behind me, is just the first phase of the championship building plan. The tremendous facility will become the nicest performance center in the Mid-American Conference, and our student athletes will be the beneficiaries of that. However, this is just the beginning, and I look forward to sharing more phases in the pretty near future about the championship building plan. I will be your MC for about 30 minutes. We're going to try to roll through it pretty quick, but we have a lot of people to thank, and I'm going to kind of do that along the way as we have speakers come up. I'd first like to thank the student athletes and those that came out here today. Let's give them a big round of applause. I want you to know as student athletes that we work every day to help give each of you the resources you need to be successful in the classroom, in the community, in life, and certainly on our playing fields. I'd be remiss if I didn't take the time to thank former athletic director Heather Like and her staff for laying out the vision for the championship building plan, which was more than 3 years ago that they started having the discussions about that. Obviously, we've made some changes and adjustments to the initial plan, but it was because of her leadership that we were able to lay the foundation to be here today. I'd also like to thank my senior leadership team. Aaron Keto could not be here today, but Dan McLean, Mike Malik, and Andrew Rowden, I really appreciate them. And I thank my staff that's provided the input for the building and all the coaches that have also participated in shaping what we're building right now. So let's give it up for my staff and all of our coaches. I'd like to thank our Board of Regents for all their support, the resources to make this building a reality. They've had a lot of difficult decisions to make. They always keep the students in mind when making those decisions, which is something I really appreciate. At this time, I'd like to introduce the regents that we do have here today. First, Regent Michelle Crum. Say hi, stand up for me. Regent Eunice Jeffries as well. And you're going to hear from Regent Mike Hawks. And you'll also hear from our board, chairman of the board, James Webb. Yep. I appreciate each of you, and please help me welcome a two-time graduate from EMU and a former student athlete, the chairman of the Board of Regents, Mr. James Webb. Oh, you snuck in. Real quick, I didn't see Dennis Began, Regent Began, also snuck in here on me. Sorry about that, Dennis. All right, Regent Webb, and I'll leave that up there for you. Okay.
Thank you, Scott. We probably want to mention that Regent Hawks played football here back in the Nixon administration. And Dennis Began was on a basketball team. We've increased our standards since then. And I'm just so pleased I could write back to my high school football coach and tell him I finally made it onto the gridiron and a Division I football program. I've told this story before. I tried out for the baseball team, and I didn't make the Little League team. I tried out for basketball, and I was in the first group cut. I finally made a team, though. I played football. When you're a freshman in high school, nobody gets cut, so I made the team. And I first came out, they looked at me and said, look at the size of this guy. We're not going to have to give him pads. And the last week of practice, the coach came up, put his arm on my shoulder and said, son, it doesn't appear that this is your sport. Have you thought about going out for the swim team? And it was terrible news to a guy from a little farm town in California, but swimming did win, and eventually I came here, and I came here from California, and as you can tell, I was going to just come for 4 years, so I'm a man of my word. I'm here 50 years later. But Eastern's always been a passion to me, and I am so proud to be part of the Eastern family. But I want to thank you, and on behalf of my fellow members of the Board of Regents, it's great to see everyone here. This is a great turnout on a great day. It's an exciting day. There are many investments underway on this campus. Most of them involve academics. If you see Strong Hall, you'll note that the renovations are almost complete. Matter of fact, I'll give you some insider information that we just heard from Mr. Donegan today. We believe it's going to be finished by 1/1, so we actually will have scheduled classes in the new Strong Hall the second semester this year. We have a completion on the Science Complex, and soon we'll have the College of Business completed. Quirk Theater is underway, and soon Sill Hall will have its College of Technology implemented. The Rec IM building is being upgraded, and the parking and dining areas across campus are all being worked on. Matter of fact, Mr. Donegan gave us a report today that went on and on and on about all the things that are on target. Major investments and upgrades are underway to meet the needs of today's students, to provide excellent learning and teaching spaces for our students and faculty. Upgrades were effected so that Eastern can continue to attract high-quality students from across the state, region, and internationally. Students who are gifted both academically and athletically. I think a lot of you have heard these statistics before, so I'll bore you one more time. The average GPA of a student athlete at Eastern is 3.25. We had 45 students last semester, who had a 4.0 grade point average while participating as a varsity athlete. I don't know how in the world they did that. And 82% of our athletes graduate. The average from a school like Eastern, on average 40% graduate. So the graduation rate for varsity athletes in this school is twice what it is for a, quote, normal student here. The building that we're going to be placing behind me will greatly improve our ability to compete at the same level as our counterparts across the Mid-America Conference. And I would like to thank everyone involved, Scott, Coach Creighton, and everyone in athletics and the foundation who have labored so long and hard and effectively. And particularly the donors and former students, athletes, who have stood behind the project every step of the way. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Anthony. And even the baseball guys. Together, we are helping building Eastern's future so that we continue on with the great tradition that lies behind you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Regent Webb. Again, thank you, all the regents, for your unwavering support for our student athletes. The next group I'd like to recognize and thank is our Champions Advisory Board. This advisory board to the athletic director was started a little over 3 years ago. It was June 2015. It's called the CAB. That's what I like to refer to them as. It was created to help shape the vision of the championship building plan to impact as many student athletes as possible and bring great pride to our campus and university community. It is because of this group that we're even standing here today. This board has given its time, its talent, and its treasure for the past 3 years to finally see this day happen. Their work is not complete though, and they know it. We're still working together. We're actually going to meet after this and talk about the next phases of the championship building plan to impact even more of our student athletes. We have many members here today with us, and I'd like for them to stand and be recognized. Our group, why don't you guys go ahead and stand up? Let's give them a big round of applause. So I only selected one, and we had to go with Big Jack. So now to speak on behalf of the Champions Advisory Board, let's welcome Jack Bruzewitz.
Thank you, Scott, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much to the Board of Regents for your support and what you've done, and to be able to see the future and what we need to do. And actually, it's a long time coming. As all of the student athletes know, we were a little bit behind in getting a first-rate, first-class student performance center as phase one of this project. So we're really happy and excited. Our Champions Advisory Board, please guys, stand up one more time. We have 17 members. We're not all here right now, but we have these guys. Our 17 members have been phenomenal in our support, their time, and certainly their money. And what we want to do is lay the foundation so as you get in your business careers, when you're done with your education and you're in your business careers after your athletic achievements, we want you to join us and start taking our place and really continue to build so that EMU can provide the best facilities possible for all their student athletes to be able to compete at the highest level. And that's what we wanted to provide for you. So we have a tremendous amount of people on our board. Unfortunately, I wanted to mention one right now. A month ago, we lost one. Lori Hubbard, a Hall of Fame swimmer. Her eyes are shining down right now. I know, Sue, you know her very well. And she lost her battle with cancer. So I wanted to point her out, and she's certainly still behind us and in our hearts and in our minds, and she's probably shining down right now. So we always think of Lori. She's one of us, and we want to definitely let you know that we want to make an impact. We want to make sure that you have everything you need to compete, and our board wants to continue to grow. So if anybody out there, you don't have to be an ex-student athlete. We have people on our board that are just benefactors and alumnus of Eastern Michigan University, but we would love to have other people on our board as well. So please come to one of us, and if there's any student athletes, when you do graduate and you want to get on our board and talk about it, we'll be more than happy to have you. And just talk to your coach, and I'm sure Scott will point you in the right direction. So anyway, thank you again to the university, particularly the Regents and President Smith, and for all that you've done for allowing us to be here today and start this process. So thank you.
Thanks, Jack. I really appreciate, obviously, you and the advisory board for all you do for EMU. I want to next personally thank Regent Hawks for his leadership and dedication to our athletic department. Regent Hawks has been the chair of our Athletic Affairs Committee for the past 8 years and has been a great confidant to me and somebody I truly look up to. He is also an EMU graduate and, as Regent Webb mentioned, a former football letter winner. And so I'd like to have Regent Hawks come up and say a few words. Regent Hawks.
It's a good time of year. Coach, how many hours? 25? Thank you. Thank you, everybody. By the way, it wasn't Nixon, it was Reagan. All right, all right. Bite your tongue.
I thought it was Lincoln.
I'd like to join the congratulations offered on behalf of the colleagues, my colleagues on the Board of Regents. This has been a long time coming. 20 years ago, the building in front of me, Convocation Center, was built. Other than the rowing boathouse on Ford Lake and the indoor practice facility over here, there has not been a significant investment in our athletics facility since 1998, particularly one that serves nearly all of our sports and student athletes. Chairman Webb touched on the importance of the facility in terms of keeping Eastern on equal footing with the Mid-America Conference colleagues. We have lagged behind our peers in creating new or upgrading facilities that impact our student athletes both on and off the field. This project significantly helps us align better with our peer institutions. The new Student Athlete Performance Center will feature modern sports medicine space, amenities providing the highest care, strength and conditioning space, more than 4 times our current offering, equipment space to ensure safety and efficiency, and coaches' offices, team meeting rooms, which are the living and learning environments for our student athletes and their athletic craft, multi-use space for student athletes, alumni, and fans on EMU game days, and a fantastic new state-of-the-art scoreboard, not that one, to enhance the game day experience for all who attend our home games. Again, I want to thank everyone involved. It truly was a team effort, and thank all of you for being here this afternoon.
Thank you, Regent Hawks. He did. I will have to throw in the video board you see here, our temporary board for this year, is actually twice the size of the board that we just tore down, but the new one will be 3 times the size of that one. So that'll be a nice little fan enhancement for us next season. So thank you, Regent Hawks. As some of you may know, his term as a regent is actually coming to an end in December, and I know personally am sad to see that, but I know he's done a great service to Eastern Michigan. I really appreciate that. The 2018 season marks head coach Scott Hall's 20th year leading Eastern Michigan University women's soccer team, which they're out here today. Coach Hall has been with the program since its inception in 1995, serving as assistant coach for 4 seasons before taking over as the head coach in 1999, and he is the longest tenured coach in Mid-American Conference, but still looks the youngest, which is great. Please welcome head coach Scott Hall.
All right, first, again, as a staff member here and for our student athletes and all the staff members here, I want to thank the president, obviously, the Board of Regents, the Champions Advisory Committee. The building that you're putting up here, again, is something that will really enhance all of us. And when I got the email to speak on this, obviously I've been here for 20, 25 years. I thought maybe the Scott was for Scott Weatherby, because I think sometimes having the same name as the AD is good and can be bad also. With that, in my 25 years, I've seen a ton of changes. One of the biggest changes that I've seen here is, again, with the Olympic sports and the women's sports, getting a seat at the table, right? Not just to look and see what nice facilities we can, but to be a voice within that. So as this facility, the planning started for this facility, we were invited in. We sat at the table. We were asked, what are the needs that we might need? So for us, 25 years ago, we had a patch of grass. Things have grown since then. So the impact of this building, I'm going to kind of talk about for our team and the impact that it has on us. For us, we're a 3.67 GPA. So we have student athletes. I mean, these kids do it on the field and they do it in the classroom. With that, the impact that they need is efficiency. For us, the building will have a state-of-the-art weight room. So now, with the location of our locker room just on the other side of the bubble and our practice facility right here and our game field right here, we'll be able to walk over and use that weight room, and it's efficient for us, along with the training room, the recovery room. All those things for student athletes is huge, because they have a block of time to be out here is maybe 3 hours, and then they've got to get back. They've got classes, they've got studying. That impact that it'll bring for our women athletes is amazing. So again, the impact for the building, student athletes, mine in particular, will help their efficiency. Hopefully our GPA can, I don't know if it can, but hopefully it rises again, right? The win-losses rise for us too. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your energy into this project. And again, we appreciate the seat at the table. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. I want to remind everybody that we actually have a home soccer match tomorrow at 12 noon versus Creighton. It's not against Coach Creighton, it's at Creighton University. But I have to get the plug in for them, so let's come out and support them. Barton Malow is our general contractor for our project, and they put together a great team to design and build a championship building that we will all be proud of. I would like to thank their partners for the project, Beckett and Rader, IDS, and O Sports. They have been great to work with, and I look forward to finishing this awesome project here in about 10 months. So please welcome from Barton Malow, Justin Barnes.
Thank you, Scott. On behalf of Barton Malow, Integrated Design Solutions, and the rest of our design build team, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to be here today. Over the next 10 months, our team will be hard at work at the site behind me, transforming it into the new Student Athlete Performance and Success Center. We'll be moving nearly 25,000 cubic yards of dirt, erecting over 300 tons of structural steel, and placing nearly 16,000 cubic yards of concrete to create this new 58,000 square foot facility. Be clad in nearly 25,000 square feet of metal panels and glazing to create a fresh look to Rynearson Stadium and the surrounding athletic complex. However, the impact to this project can't be measured by the size of the scoreboard alone, although as Scott mentioned, it's quite large. But rather by the significance to the student athlete community, the staff who will utilize it every day, and the fans and alumni who will get to experience an enhanced game day setting. Throughout this process, the drive for the project, the energy that was brought to the table, and the commitment to putting the student athletes first from everyone involved from Eastern Michigan has been fantastic. Scott, Mike Malik, Coach Creighton, physical plant, and all of your respective staffs, and then those who haven't been necessarily at the table with us every day, the regents and the administration. We would just again like to thank you for this opportunity to partner with you and carry that energy forward into a great new facility. Thank you.
Thanks, Justin. I appreciate your leadership and guidance on the project. You also mentioned the physical plan. I wanted to also take a minute to recognize our facility group that's been working alongside Barton Malow every step of the way, led by John Donegan, Scott Storer, Bob Denzik, and last but not least, Tony Duty, who is actually serving as the lead from the physical plant. So let's give them a round of applause. Coach Creighton and his staff have put in countless hours to make our football program competitive. He and I talk all the time about the Performance Center, what it'll do for our student athletes, what it'll do for our football program. Coach has been extremely flexible. With all the transition now, they don't have a locker room, we don't have an equipment room, we don't have a video board, we don't have a sound system, et cetera, but he's been very flexible with it. He sees the big picture for our department and for this program. So please help me welcome Coach Creighton.
And so one of the greatest things about being involved in athletics, in my opinion, is winning when people deep down believe it's impossible. Whether it's a game against, some other opponent, whether it's a season when they say you're picked last or there's no way that team can win a championship, or you're down in a race or in a game and people are leaving the facility. There's nothing greater, I believe, in athletics than a come-from-behind victory or proving people wrong. And I believe that it's one of the greatest things in sports because it's really, really, really hard. When the idea of coming up with the championship building and the multi-million dollars that it would take, people said, it ain't gonna happen. There's no way Eastern Michigan is going to spend millions of dollars to build an athletic facility. It won't happen. It's hard, and people don't believe. And so when you're part of a group of people who lead and believe and work through the hard times to make it happen, it's like a comeback victory when people have left the stadium. It's like winning a game when people said that's impossible. And it's like winning a championship when they said there's no chance that that team can win a championship. So here we are at Eastern Michigan University celebrating a $20+ million brand spanking new athletic facility. And so for all the people who doubted, didn't believe, said it wouldn't happen, naysayers, whatever it is, we're doing it. Who's doing it? And I'm going to give us a chance. I want everybody, and I know that I've been too cool for school before too, but we're going to have 3 opportunities. We're not Western, we're not Central, we're not anybody else. We're Eastern, and everybody knows what that is when we say Eastern. So who is it that is building the $20+ million athletic facility? Eastern! Who is it that's building the $20 million athletic facility? Eastern! Who is it that's building the $20+ million athletic facility? Eastern! Thank you, and thank you.
I'm also Coach Creighton's agent for speaking engagements. Just let me know, and we'll take care of it. Coach, I appreciate you and your friendship. Good luck tomorrow. We're all going to be cheering for you. I hope to see this place fill up, and we have a great season. Last but not least, I want to introduce President Smith. I want to personally thank him and his staff for giving me the opportunity to lead this athletics department. I also want to thank you for supporting the project, for Rec IM, and for SIL. Without the board and your leadership, this groundbreaking would never happen. I would like to introduce the president of Eastern Michigan University, Dr. James Smith.
Okay, first of all, why does the president go after Coach Creighton? Because we're firing the athletic director and letting him do something else. The real answer is, Scott told me that day, Jim, nobody else will do it. So you got to go last. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your interest in what we do day in and day out. And I want to just reiterate a thing that Coach Hall said. Many times we're here for a football game. Many times we're in the convo for a basketball game. If you don't do it, ladies and gentlemen, find an Olympic sport to follow as well. It is no greater tribute to our athletes than to see you present. And when you're present here, and when you're present in the soccer field, and you're present when we do gymnastics, it speaks power to who we are, not just for one sport, but for all sports. So if you leave with nothing today other than the fact that, Scott, I don't think you can raise your GPA for soccer, there is a limit. 4 points as high as it goes, ladies. You can't get any higher. But please take the opportunity to see track and field come alive, see our Olympic sports, and see and support all of our sports. I want to thank the Regents as well. I want to thank Scott for taking an idea that was given to him and carrying it forward. I want to thank Barton Mallow. I was over here for soccer last week, and I was walking out of the soccer area, and I said, oh my God, I can see all the way to, I think I could see my house if I stood at the right angle. It's certainly a different landscape. Imagine what it'll look like when the building's in full order, fully constructed. I think the excitement's before us. I also know that we bring a technician along to run this temporary scoreboard, but A.D. Weatherby told me if the technician fails, he can jump in. I don't believe that, so we hope that the technician stays on call for all home games. And that thing really does come in on a flatbed and go out on a truck, but it's going to be quite the visual to see the game. So thank you all, student athletes. Thank you for what you do. You truly represent that word, student athletes. The community service that you give, the efforts that you give in the classroom, all the time that you spend, the time that you don't want to be in the training room, the time that you don't want to be in the weight room. None of you ever don't want to be in the classroom. I know that. But if there ever is that thought, for the time that you said, I can make that class, even when you didn't want to be there, thank you. We all see it and we all appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, President Smith. I want to thank everybody again for coming out, for being so supportive. This is just the first phase of our championship building plan. I look forward to seeing everyone next summer when this is completed and have a ribbon cutting ceremony and really celebrate it and take a look at it. What I'd like to do now is we want to get some photos. We got some dirt and some shovels and we got hard hats and we want to get some photos done. So what I'd like to do first is all of our speakers that have had a chance to speak, get a quick photo op, and then I'd like to have our regents come up and get a photo, and then I'd like all of our student athletes to come around as much as possible and get a photo with our regents and our president so we can kind of timestamp this day and celebrate that. And then I'd like to have our cab after that, and then our coaches as well as with the president. So we're going to try to do some quick photos, and then we'll be out of here, okay? Thank everybody for coming, and let's do a little photo shoot, okay?